Welcome back, Mission Driven Moms. Years ago, Oprah Winfrey made a little movie called Make the Connection. And it was about her journey with her weight and how she had struggled her whole life and how she had finally paid the price and lived the principles and overcome all of her weight challenges and was now thin. And she still has continued to fluctuate throughout her life ever since then. But it was such a great video because one of the things that she mentions is, look, and she didn't say it quite this way, but it was basically like, I'm super wealthy and I know all the important people in the world. And she says at one point, if there was a magic pill, I would pay the person to go to the mountain to get the thing so I wouldn't have to change myself in order to lose all this weight. And she finally had to just emotionally accept there was no way around it. The principles ruled that no matter what she did, she wasn't going to be the weight she wanted to be unless she really honored those principles. And she did that. And so she interviews some different women on this video. And one woman in particular talked about how she lost over like 100 pounds. And she said it started because she had a little girl, and her little girl was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5. And they were shopping one day, and she was walking down the street, and she glanced at herself in her reflection in the window, the store window, and she could see herself. And she called it a glimpse, or like we want to call it, a wake-up call. It kind of was one of those moments that just snaps you back into reality. You're kind of living your life and you're doing your thing and you're kind of making your excuses and going about your day. And you have these moments, these glimpses, these wake-up calls where you get to see this is actually what's really going on. I had one of these years ago when my cousins were placed in foster care, and through a series of miracles, they were handed to me virtually overnight. And I went from 4 children to 8 children, and one of them was a newborn baby that I brought home from the hospital. And it was definitely a wake-up call experience for me. It ended up being one of the most beautiful experiences of my life and brought me a lot closer to God. But it was one of the most painful experiences of my life. And a big part of that pain was about who I was and what I guess, got to learn about myself that wasn't pretty. And I did things I didn't realize I was capable of doing, and it made me much more kind-hearted and empathic. It helped me to see why other people struggle with what they struggle with and to not be quite so hard on them. And these wake-up calls, these glimpses that we're granted in life can be incredibly painful. They can bring us to tears, they can spiral us downward into depression, but they're really a gift, because they're an opportunity to see what's really going on. And this story with this woman in the Oprah video, she talked about how because of that glimpse, because of that wake-up call that she had when she saw herself in that window, in that store window, it was the catalyst for transforming her entire life, because she realized this is the example I'm showing to my daughter, and that's not the example I want her to see. I want her to see what a woman is really can be and can become. And I want to lose this weight and show her that I can do it. And I want to show her what a healthy, happy woman looks like. And it was motherhood that motivated her to do it, which I think is so beautiful. And, you know, these wake-up calls we have, I had another one time when Blaine and I were in a fight and I slapped him across the face. Just really a lovely thing for me to do. And in that moment, we both just kind of looked at each other and we were like, we're in really serious trouble. And we went and had marriage therapy and worked that through. And that was the catalyst for him. That's what he does in his career now. But when we have these wake-up calls, it is the opportunity that we need, because we see things as they really are. It's the opportunity for us to change our lives forever. And this is when principles really come to the rescue, and they're our very best friends. And that's what Oprah was talking about, was she had tried everything. She lost tons of weight on Weight Watchers and did a whole TV show on it. And within 6 months, her weight was right back up, not to where it had been, but she gained the weight back because she hadn't put healthy habits in place in her life, and she hadn't really done it in a principle-centered, sustainable way. And what she had to learn the hard way, like we all have to learn the hard way, is that principles work for us or against us, whether we know them or not, and whether we like it or not. And they are the key to unlocking those areas of our lives where we're experiencing pain and unhappiness. And they're our best friends when we have a wake-up call and life is saying, this is something you need to fix. This is an area of your life that you need to get in order. So I want to challenge you to pay attention to those wake-up calls that may happen to you in the near future or that have happened to you, and ask yourself who you really want to be and what principles you need to live that will really transform that area of your life and create permanent solutions. In conjunction with this challenge, we're going to have a Facebook Live this week in the Mission Driven Mom Mastermind Facebook group. I'm going to introduce you to natural law, which was a concept that was very commonly talked about in early America and in the Western past, but is something that's not talked about very much today, and how it's the foundation for first principles and natural and then principles that follow, and the 12 characteristics of true principles, and help you get a very basic rudimentary introductory understanding of what principles are and kind of how they're affecting your life. So I invite you to join me for that. Bring any of the questions that you might have to that Facebook Live that we're going to do. It's going to be a lot of fun this week. And in the meantime, take stock of where you're at. Choose an area of your life where you're clear there need to be changes made, and start going out and trying to find those principles that can make you the woman and the mother that you were truly meant to be. Prepare yourself, live those 4 laws of life mission. One of them is to put your life in line with principles, and you will receive the call that God has for you. Thank you for joining me. If this was helpful, please pass it on and subscribe. And join our Facebook group if you haven't done that already, and we'll see you next time.